Welcome to the Laylo Show. I'm your host, Laylo. Please hit the like and subscribe button and the notification button. It's your boy, Laylo. First, before we get into it, I want to thank everyone who sent out donations. If you like to send donations, my Cash App is right here on the screen, right to the far left. But yeah, I appreciate the support. You know, it helps me continue to do these streams. And if you would like to send me any information that you want me to stream about, please send it through email, thelayloshow@gmail.com. Make sure you send detailed information of what it is and links to any places where I can confirm your information. And I appreciate you. I appreciate all the donors. All right, so I received some information about, well, first of all, my condolences to the families and friends of the children that succumbed to the injuries from the Texas flood. And that's what this stream is about. If you look at the thumbnail, you can see what's going on. So, yeah, let's get into it. All right. So, on my birthday, July the 4th, I think it happened on my birthday. Something happened in Texas. There was a flood. There was a mass flood. And, you know, there was a bunch of children that, you know, were unalive during that flood. And, you know, to the average person, you would see, okay, a flood happened, people passed away, all right, moving on. But I got a lot of information as I was looking into it. I ran into this rabbit hole, and I just needed to look further into it. So there's a camp called Camp David. It's a camp called Camp David. Not Camp David. I'm tripping. What am I talking about? I'm tripping. Camp Mystic. That's the name of the camp. Now, this is a very unusual camp for children, but this camp was flooded, and that's where most of the kids were that succumbed to their injuries. Now, this camp is located in Texas. Camp Mystic right here in Hunt, Texas. That's where this camp is. I think I have a video of the camp.
Imagine just how many parents drove this road at Camp Mystic to.
So this is a video of Camp Mystic, and this camp has been around for a long time. But what's special about this camp is it is a camp for mostly girls that are related to individuals of the elite. Okay? Now this camp, I don't really know much about it and what they teach at this camp and the things that they do, but I just found it unusual that this particular camp, mind you, there are other camps around this camp as well. There's other camps around here. I can't remember the other one. Let me see if I can look up the other camps. There's several other camps around it, but we'll get into that. Anyway, Camp Mystic is a camp for the children of the elite. And from my understanding, from what I've gathered doing research, is they're taught certain things, you know, kind of like a survival code in the world of the elite. And there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions going on, and we're going to get into it. Now, New York Post, the New York Post posted this July the 4th. Christian summer camp. This is a Christian summer camp where girls went missing during devastation floodings has been attended by daughters of Texas political elite for 100 years. So this is the article that caught my eye. And mind you, this is the New York Post. This is the article that caught my eye. So I read through. Let's read through a little bit of it. The all-girls Christian summer camp in Texas, where a frantic search is underway for survivors. This was published July the 4th, my birthday. Where frantic search is underway for survivors of the catastrophic flood, has been a destination for daughters of Texas political elite since it was founded nearly a century ago. Camp Mystic, situated along the Guadalupe River in a tiny town of Hunt, Texas, has been beloved summer retreat for some of the most influential young women in the Lone Star State and national politics, according to the 2011 Texas Monthly Story. Let's look that up. I didn't click on that. Not So Happy Campers. This is 2011. I'm not going to read all that right now. But anyway, let's go back to this. The daughters of former Texas governors Dan Moody, Price Daniel, and John Connolly, who was unalived as he sat next, he was hit as he sat next to President John F. Kennedy when he was unalived in Dallas in 1962. Texas got a lot of stuff going on, man. What's going on out there? What's going on in Texas, man? There's a lot going on in Texas, man. All attended the camp, according to the outlet. The daughters, granddaughters, and great-granddaughters of Democratic President Lyndon B. Johnson, JFK's successor and one of Texas' most formidable politicians, also summered at Camp Mystic, per Texas Monthly. Interesting. James Baker, who served as chief of staff to Republican President Ronald Reagan and George H.W. Bush, sent his daughter and a granddaughter to Camp Mystic, the outlet added. While attending Southern Methodist University, future First Lady Laura Bush was a Camp Mystic counselor. And if you don't know who Laura Bush is, she's the one who married George Bush Jr. She was a counselor at Camp Mystic. Years before she married George W. Bush, who would serve as Texas governor, he, like his father, became president, according to the Texas Monthly. This is Laura Bush. She was a Camp Mystic counselor. So this is very interesting. And you know, when I gathered this information, I'm sure you're like, wait, whoa, what's going on? Because nobody's really talking about this. They're just talking about the flood that happened and so on and so forth. But nobody's pointing out the fact that there are several elite or children of the elite, children and grandchildren, great-grandchildren of the elite that are attending this camp. Campers would go on to become executives for Neiman Marcus, dance with London's Royal Ballet, own a Jamboree franchise in the former Soviet Union, or marry well and become the kind of intensely focused volunteers who would probably be happier as CEOs. One Mystic alumni said, "I don't care where my granddaughter goes to college, but I do care where she goes to camp." And according to her daughter went to Camp Mystic as well. Camp Mystic, which will celebrate its 100th birthday next year, was founded by E.J. Doc Stewart, a former head football coach of the University of Texas in 1926. Wow. These are old pictures. This is the website, campmystic.com. This is the website of the camp that was flooded. And it kind of reminds me of Lake Lanier here in Georgia. For those that don't know, Lake Lanier used to be a black town, a black city here in Georgia, which is now a lake, but it's a lake because it was flooded. Let me see something. Let's see. Camp Mystic. Camp Mystic got a lot going on. Lake Lanier. Okay. The horrific truth about Lake Lanier. So Lake Lanier used to be a city for black people. I don't know all the details of it, even though I'm from Georgia. Don't laugh at me. But Lake Lanier used to be a city run by black people. I don't know. This is an image of Lake Lanier. Now, all this used to be a city of black people, but it was flooded. And if you want to do your research on that, go ahead. But we're talking about Camp Mystic right now. Now, here's something interesting about this story. Some information I came across, right? On the New York Post, these are the girls. Here's a list of the girls. Renee Smajastriala, age 9. Jenny Hunt, age 9. Sarah Marsh, age 9. Man. Lila Bonner, age 9. Eloise Peck, age 8. These are babies. These are all the children that passed away in the flood. Haley Hannah, age 8. Lenny McComb, age 8. Virginia Hollis. It doesn't have her age here, does it? No. She had been staying with the Campbell twins too. Greta Toronzo, age 10. Like this is really sad, man. Mary Grace Baker, age 8. Blakely McCrory, age 8. Molly Duet, age 9. Wow. Lenny McCone, or Margaret Sheedy, I'm sorry. How old is Margaret? Doesn't have her age, but she looks about 8, 9, no older than 10. Wayne Naylor, age 8. Jeez. Seal Stewart, age 8. But rest in peace to those children. But one stood out. this one right here, Janie Hutt. She stood out to me because I did a little research on some of the kids, and like I said, this is a place where the elite send their children for the summer. And I did a little research on Janie Hunt, and when I did my research, I found out that she was related to Clark Hunt. Who is Clark Hunt? He is the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. And that was interesting. So she is directly related to Clark Hunt, Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Hunt, he's part of the Hunt family, which he's actually the grandson of tycoon or oil tycoon H.L. Hunt. Now, if you look up H.L. Hunt owned half of all the oil fields in Texas. Probably one of the richest men in the world during that time. Harrison Lafayette Hunt Jr. So he owned, and the family still owns this oil. The family still owns this oil. So, and he founded a company called Hunt Oil, which is here. And they control all of the oil coming out of Texas. So, and it's weird because if these are children and grandchildren of the elite tend to move in a fashion where, you know, they would be more, the kids would have been more safe, or they would have got them out there more quicker had they known, you know, what was about to happen, and I'm sure they knew. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I don't know. All right, but as I did more research, I dug deep, and I got into what they call cloud seeding. Cloud seeding.
Right. Cloud seeding was a technology invented in the United States by American scientists in 1946. It is super localized in its effect, both in space and time, meaning you can make it rain or snow more over an individual city, over 100 square miles at a time. Precipitation happens, 15 minutes to a couple hours after your intervention. And if you stop operating, right, if you stop cloud seeding, then you stop affecting the weather. It stops changing, right? So you can turn it off whenever you want. Also, because we were doing all of these experiments over the course of the last 80 years, we have data on its safety, right? We have data on the materials that we use. So people have typically used material called silver iodide to freeze the liquid in the cloud into these big snowflakes that eventually precipitate, melt into rain, or stay as snow.
So there's a conspiracy. Well, according to this guy right here, and from what I understand, this guy, I'm not going to say his name, but he is the creator, well, not the creator, but he's the CEO of cloud seeding here in America. And typically what cloud seeding is basically they can create storms. And what we're watching right here now is the top 5 generators that can create storms, or create clouds that can create storms. And they are now saying that the storm that was generated to create the flood, this flood here, this is a time lapse of the flood within 20 minutes. This is the flood in 20 minutes. So the clouds that created the storm, or the rain that created the storm, is supposedly created by cloud seeding. Long story short, they're alleging that cloud seeding was used to flood a certain area in Texas. Now, the weird thing about that as well is this has happened before. Okay? This has happened before. Yes, it has. Let me see here. In 1987, there was another flood in Texas. Okay?
River in the Hill Country, other than today's, also happened in July. It was back in 1987 when 10 summer campers died during a flash flood. Here's more from KVU's Bob Buckaloo.
So back in 87, this is footage from 87 when there was another flash flood in Texas at another camp. And of course, people succumbed to their injuries. You know, as you can see, some were saved, but a lot of people, lost their lives. And they are saying that the same thing happened in 87, cloud seeding, because it's said to believe that the first cloud seeding machine was invented in 83. So this is 87. So I don't know. It sounds like, not only are people playing God, but they're also playing the devil. Just my opinion. No proof, no facts. But the story is very interesting because people are being unalive by mass quantities. But then you're talking about kids here. You're talking about kids. Now I know I'm black. I don't want to hear them from my black brothers and sisters, my African Americans, my indigenous black brothers and sisters, or brown brothers and sisters. I don't want to seem like I'm switching sides or whatever. But at the end of the day, these are children. These are children, and I know, during our older days, they didn't care nothing about our children either. And it's not just that. It's just, what kind of a world are we living in now where children could possibly be sacrificed for whatever reasons? What type of world are we living in now where this is happening? I don't know. But these cloud seeding machines, there's plenty of proof that these machines are creating storms or can create storms. So that means anytime it's storming in this country, it's possible somebody created that. Am I wrong for saying that? There's so much stuff here that I can speak on. But anyway, let's check this out.
It does not mean that the two events are connected. Watch this.
We're talking about So
this guy here, this is the same guy here.
Silver iodide, its toxicity is 10 times less than aspirin, for one. But
this is the same guy who was the CEO of Rainmaker Technology Corporation, which is the cloud seeding technology.
centimeter amounts of precipitation, be it in snow or rain from every event, which in aggregate can mean hundreds of acre feet, which is very consequential for farmers and ecosystems, but cannot come close to causing flooding unto itself.
Now, it's claiming that it can't cause flooding, but I've heard otherwise.
The science, what is cloud seeding, first off, and how is it being used in Texas?
Yeah, so cloud seeding is really this idea for farmers of hey, there's some moisture up there in the cloud.
So it's supposed to be for farmers to make it rain over their farms.
So you're thinking like pollens, particles of pollen or dust or even air pollution. So you see this graphic here. Basically what they do is they fly planes up there to give the water vapor something to grab on.
I don't know if I can go for that. I don't know if I can go for that, where this is just only used for farmers. Because if you can create weather, you can create weather, and anyone in that position is gonna use that power for. I mean, it might get too hot somewhere. Like it ain't rained in weeks in this location. Okay, we need rain, and it probably ain't got nothing to do with farming. So,
yeah, but 2 days before, I mean,
to trigger something like this, certainly not 2 days after they were doing it. They were only up in the air cloud seeding for about 20 minutes because, again, it's targeted to a pretty small after they were doing it. They were only up in the...
So they're saying that they had just did cloud seeding over the area 2 days before this incident in Hunt, Texas.
And I mean, cloud seeding is human-caused climate change on a very micro level, but when we're talking about climate change on the macro level, does it look like this flood has any links to climate change?
I mean, well, yeah, here, right? Because cloud seeding is like weather modification, like very hyper local in the moment. Climate change is over a long period of time. And what humans have been doing by burning coal, oil, and gas is that we're making the atmosphere hotter. We're making the oceans hotter.
Yeah. I don't know. I tend to believe that
flood damage. He'll also meet with first responders.
That these cloud seeding machines created those clouds or those storms that ultimately took the lives of the children here at Camp Mystic. Because these are the children of the elite. Why? And from what I understand, doing my research, there's Camp Guadalupe here. There's other camps that's nearby. There's Camp Mystic Guadalupe. There's the Hexo Academy. They're closed. Okay, so they probably got hit too. But there are other camps in the area. Mind you, Camp Mystic is here. Camp Mystic is right here. All right. And there are other camps in the area that didn't get touched. There are other camps around here. Now, mind you, the water came from the Guadalupe River, which is right here. So this water, forget the noise in the background, somebody cutting my grass. But this water right here is the water that flooded everything in this area. All right? And there are other camps in that area that didn't get touched. It was just only Camp Mystic in Cypress Lake that was affected. And that just seems strange to me. Here's another video of cloud seeding. Now people come to watch this happen on a regular basis. Cloud seeding. So it's very interesting how this all went down, and no one seems to be talking about what actually happened. Hero Camp Mystic Director. Okay, someone passed. He's the Camp Mystic Director trying to save girls from the flood. Richard Dick Eastland. Dick is his name. I'm sorry. Now, he's the one who tried to save the children. So rest in peace to him. Condolences to his family. And it took 27 people, mostly kids, from that camp. And it unalived at least 118 people total in that region. Texas flooding death toll reaches 95 in Kerr County, with more than 150 still missing. So this has been updated. So it's 150 people still missing from this flood. And that's diabolical work, man. Camp Mystic. I'm assuming these are aftermath images. No, this is, it's before and after. I'm assuming that's before and then after. Before and after. So, 27 children from the camp were unalive. This is the website of Camp Mystic. Of course, they are closed as of right now. And again, this is a camp where the children of the elite attend during summer camp. And like I've said before, there are several elite families that send their children, like Janie Hunt, who's related to Clark Hunt, who is the owner of the Kansas City Chiefs. And even people like Laura Bush has become a counselor at this camp. So this camp is 100 years old. But now we don't know what's about to happen with this camp, or if anything is about to happen, because we don't know what that was about. Trump is live. Is Trump live about the camp? Well, he's going live. We don't know what's about to happen with this camp because, and that's interesting that Trump is going live about this as well. That is interesting. So we're gonna watch this this live Texas stream where Trump is going to go live and talk about the children, I hope, or he has to explain the death toll and why it happened and why he couldn't help. Because I don't understand. If you knew, I mean, you got weathermen here that know. I get alerts on my phone all the time. I get alerts on my phone all the time telling me, hey, we have a flash flood warning. Okay? So why didn't they get those kids out of there? It just doesn't make sense. These are images from '87 when the same thing happened at another camp. I don't know. If you're a conspiracy theorist, let me know in the comments and tell me what you think.
More importantly than that, after decades of operations in Utah and Idaho and Colorado and California, because there were all these old programs, like I mentioned, they only added 8 parts per trillion more soil or more silver to the soil. And there's already 2 parts per million silver in American soil as it stands. So they added 1 million times less than what's naturally there. There's no adverse
I am praying for my family constantly. I'm praying for myself. There have been threats leveled against us.
People latching onto a conspiracy that cloud seeding is what has caused the deadly floods that we saw play out last Friday, leading some lawmakers on the right to call for a ban on the process. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia said that cloud seeding should be a felony offense and, quote, we must end the dangerous and deadly practice of weather modification and geoengineering. Her bill to do that is co-sponsored by Congressman Tim Burchett of Tennessee.
People are saying so this has gotten so serious that they've put a bill together to ban and make cloud seeding a federal offense. A federal offense. Now that's interesting because so they're blaming this flood on cloud seeding, but they've been doing this cloud seeding since 1983.
Conspiracy theorists, but You know, you don't patent a conspiracy. And these things have been patented, they've been proven they do it. I'm big on God and just letting him work his magic, not people trying to play God.
People online have accused both me and Rainmaker of having caused the floods when cloud.
Rainmaker. What is Rainmaker? Rainmaker, cloud seeding. Making Earth. Wow. And of course, they're promoting this for farmers. They actually have a website for cloud seeding. Rainmaker is an engineering organization and a microism of El Sangando's spirit. We irritate quickly to solve the most important problem of our age. Join us. They're recruiting people. They're actually recruiting people. Rainmaker series. They have drones. Exclusive Rainmaker lands $25 million to boost rain with drones. FBI's Dan Bongino clashes with AG Bundy over handling Epstein. Well, dang it. We might get into the Epstein files in another video. So, apparently, the company Rainmaker is the company that, this guy is the CEO of. And he says he's been getting threats after this last storm that is allegedly created by cloud seeding.
Cloud seeding unequivocally cannot induce precipitation, even nearly on the scale of what came from the remnants of Tropical Storm Barry. When people are either trying to score points with certain portions of the electorate by making baseless accusations or fanning the flames of conspiracy, it stands to deprive Americans of a technology that we could use as a climate adaptation tool to provide more water for farms, for ecosystems, for cities, and for industries. Thanks for having me.
Would you like to, for those that don't know you, introduce yourself and what your company does?
Yeah, sure. My name is Augustus DeRico. I'm the founder and CEO of Rainmaker, which is a next-generation cloud seeding company that flies drones into clouds and disperses material. Thanks for having me.
Would you like to, for those that don't know you, introduce yourself and what your company does?
Yeah, sure. My name is Augustus DeRico. I'm the...
Augustus DeRico. All right, Augustus DeRico, Cloud Rainmaker. Augustus DeRico. He has a Facebook. He's live in Texas, Kerr County.
Walk through, because there's been some controversy about seeding and geoengineering. Can you take a minute and walk through just what your company is?
Oh, wow. This story is bigger than I thought it was. I just kind of ran across the information and just thought to myself, let me do a stream about this. But because I knew about cloud makers for a long time.
The CEO and founder of Rainmaker. We're a cloud seeding company that is enhancing precipitation via advanced radar and...
Mind you, this is 48 hours before the flood.
...drones for the sake of supplementing water supplies for farms, cities, reservoirs, and wildlife throughout the United States. My name is Augustus DeRico. I'm the CEO and founder of Rain.
So Augustus DeRico is his name. And apparently they're trying to blame him for the deaths of these children. That's a big deal. Well, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe button, a notification bell. And again, I appreciate those who sent donations through to my Cash App. My Cash App is right on the screen to the left. I appreciate all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you'd like to continue to donate, I would appreciate that. That is what helps me continue to do these streams and give you the information that you are looking for. Like I said before, if you have anything that you want me to stream about or talk about or look into, make sure you email it to me at thelayloshow.com. Why am I tripping today? I just woke up. I'm sorry. Email it to me at thelayloshow@gmail.com. And make sure you put any links with references that shows any proof of the information that you're sending me. And I will look into it, and if it's suitable, I will do a stream about it. With that being said, this is the Laylo Show. I appreciate all of you. Continue to pray, meditate, and I love you. Peace, love, and light. The Laylo Show.